right, now go.
Good evening and welcome to Fairfax County Public Schools Post-Secondary Virtual Night Event. My name is Meredith Kim and I'm Program Support for School Counseling Services, and I will be the moderator for the session titled NOVA Certificates and Workforce Development Programs. Before we begin, I wanted to share a few pieces of information regarding tonight's session. Please note that this session is pre-recorded, and during the presentation, contact information will be given where to direct any questions you may have concerning any of the information presented during this webinar. And at this time, I'll turn it over to our wonderful presenter, Jennifer Merrill from Nova Community College.
Thank you, Meredith. As stated, my name is Jennifer Merle. I'm the Student Service Manager for Nova Workforce. So for tonight's session, we're going to do just a couple of things. I'm going to just talk a little bit about who Nova is as an entire college, just very briefly. I'm going to talk specifically about Nova Workforce, who we are as a department, and then talk about a lot of our fast forward classes, which are classes that have funding attached to them, or financial assistance, and just a little bit about those classes that don't have funding, and some of our career services that any student at Nova has access to. So first, a little bit about Nova, which you might already know. We are the largest public educational institution here in the state of Virginia. We have over 70,000 students, both credit and non-credit, who are enrolled in 120 credit and 180 workforce programs. That's the non-credit side. That's numbers from 2024 to 2025. Nova is also one of the most internationally diverse colleges in the United States, with students that are coming from 100 different countries. We are located right outside of DC. We have 6 campuses, so you may live near one of those campuses, and 1 center, and we're kind of all throughout all of Northern Virginia. So Nova Workforce, who are we? What do we do? I like to call us the Professional Workforce Education Department for Nova. Basically, we are trying to provide as many opportunities for community and for students and for staff to take both industry specific courses, as well as our ESL courses, as well as other trainings that are needed just to help with upskilling or reskilling. So we offer all of those different types of courses, but we offer those in a very short amount of time. So our classes can be as short as 4 weeks and as long as 12 weeks. We do have some outliers that are sometimes a little shorter than that and sometimes a little longer than that, but they are very short. Basically, we want to get you in, get you trained, get you ready to take that exam, and then to move on to whatever's next for you. What students get with us is what's called continuing education units, CEUs. So you don't get credits with us, but you do get CEUs. I will talk about a program called Credit for Prior Learning, which you can turn some of these exams into actual college credit as well. So first, Nova Workforce, we operate on a separate platform than the main Nova college. So the main Nova college, you do an application. It takes about 20 minutes to get through that. You're giving a lot of information because it's making sure that you're domiciled and all of those things. With Nova Workforce, we just kind of want to know who you are. So name, address, email address, and then you create a password and some other identifying information for us so that we can keep track of our students. And basically, that's what the profile is. It's like creating an account with us. So I'm showing you the page here, what it looks like, just so you can kind of see what that looks like. Those are our students that are there, our CNA students who graduated. But our web address is there, the nvcc.augusoft.net. And this is the page that'll basically come up. If you click on the All Classes button, this is where you can really look at all the different types of classes by industry. So we are looking at business classes, healthcare classes, information technology classes, trades and transportation. And then I can't show you the whole screen, but basically then it broadens it even more as you scroll down. And then our ESL classes are also listed here. So you click on any of these, and then it'll give you a list of classes that fall underneath them, and then you can look at course descriptions, cost, all of that is there as well, and the mode of the type of classes, if they're in person, online, or a hybrid version. So as stated, I'm going to talk primarily about our fast forward classes because these are classes that have financial assistance. So it's not financial aid. Financial aid, the FAFSA and all of that is for credit courses. So those courses leading towards a degree or certificate on the credit academic side. Everything I'm talking about is for non-credit workforce trainings. So these are the four main industries that we kind of operate in for the fast forward. And I'm just going to talk about each one really quickly here. First is our healthcare. So anyone interested going into healthcare, all of our classes are what we call hybrid. So all of our healthcare classes are both in person for those skills parts and some of the other discussions that need to happen in person. And then most of the lecture part of the classes are online. So you're not coming to campus every class session. It's usually one time instead of 3 or 4 times a week. So we do offer the billing and coding specialist, the clinical medical assistant, the nurse aide, the CNA, the medication aid training, and the phlebotomy certification. Now there are prerequisites for these classes, and I know a lot of you are in high school currently, but you do have to have your high school diploma and or GED for all except the CNA course. The CNA course, you don't have to have your high school diploma yet, but you do need to be 16 years of age or older, and have to have completed certain things in high school to be a part of that program. You do have to complete a free online healthcare orientation. The reason for that is that our classes, the information comes fast and furious. And like I said, our classes are short, so that means the information is there's a lot in that time that you are in class. So there's things that you do have to do when you're outside of class, your own studying and things like that. So we just kind of lay some of that out for students, so they are aware of what is required. And then just one other caveat, our RMA, the medication aid training, the other prerequisite for that class is you do have to already have your CNA license to be eligible for that class. Then talk a little bit about our IT classes. Our classes kind of range in modalities. Some of them are synchronous online, which means you're completely not having to come to campus. But you're on your Zoom at a certain day, certain times. Then we have hybrid classes that, again, like the healthcare classes, some of the classes are online and some of the sessions are in person. And then we have completely in-person classes as well. So these are our IT classes that are under the Fast Forward program. We offer a ton of other ones, but these are the ones that have funding attached to them. So I've split them into 2 sections. The one that has the white background, which I believe is on the left, if you're looking at the screen like I am, it says courses with basic prerequisites. And what we mean by basic prerequisites, basically you're just letting us know that you have the basic computer knowledge. And so we do have an assessment that students do have to take. It's online, it's free, but that is something that we require. So these are kind of like those gatekeeper certifications to go on to the next set of certifications, which are on the right-hand side, which has that green background. All of these have prerequisites that require a certification. So which means you have to already have your CompTIA Tech Plus or your Python or your artificial intelligence or something of that nature, or another program. Anything that's in red, basically right now, is on pause. It hasn't gone away. It's just on pause. There's many reasons for that. The big reason is we have limited funding for this school year. So this school year, meaning 2025, 2026. We are hoping that that funding will return to normal starting fiscal year 2026, so summer 2026. But right now, all the ones that are in red are on pause. We are not offering them at this time. Now, that could change for the spring. We don't have our spring schedule yet, but that is where we are right now. I mentioned about our credit for prior learning, and basically what that is that someone can have learning in their background. So it could be courses, it could be certifications, it could be trainings, or different things. And so that can be turned into college credit. So that's hence the title Credit for Prior Learning. And so for a lot of our IT classes, our certifications, you can turn that into college credit. So even if though you might not be wanting to go to college right now, or you're not sure what's happening, if you get, let's say, for example, the CompTIA A+ certification, as you can see, it's really it's two tests. It's a really robust certification. But if you get your CompTIA A+ certification, you can turn that into 6 credits at Nova. It will come in as an ITN, which is like a networking class, 107, and ITN 106. Now, not all of our classes are listed here because we've added a lot of IT classes since I've done this slide, and a lot of them have gotten approved for credit for prior learning. So I will be adding to this, and there's a link and everything to go to see what else is available. But I can pretty much say most of our IT certification exams, if you do get that certification, do transfer into Nova as usually an ITN course of some sort. So it could be 3 credits. Some of our classes are 4 credits as well. Then moving on to our trades and transportation certification prep courses. So we offer 3 right now. We are going to be adding more here soon, but these are the 3 we're currently offering. So we have our EPA Section 608 technician certification, which is an HVAC certification. It's basically really for those that are just getting their foot in the door into the HVAC world. These are in person. All of our trades and transportation are in person on one or more of our campuses. So the EPA Section 608 is offered at our Woodbridge campus only. It does come in as credit for prior learning if you do get this certification as AIR, which is our air conditioning and refrigeration degree program, 276, which I believe is 3 credits. I didn't put that on here, but I believe it is 3 credits. Then we also offer the CDLA, the Commercial Driver's License Class A training. So that's for the big trucks. And this is in person at the Annandale campus. We also then offer our fiber optics installer certification. This class is offered both in person at our Loudoun campus and our Manassas campus. And again, all of these are our trades right now. Like I said, we'll be offering more in the coming semesters as we have a brand new trades building that's being built in the Manassas area. And so we'll be able to offer a lot more trades certification trainings there. And then next, just briefly, is about our business certification. These classes are synchronous online, which means they are online. They are not in person, but you do have to be online at a certain day and a certain time. So we do offer the SHRM Certified Professional. This is for anyone wanting to go into the HR world, human resources. This is the entry level. The SHRM CP is the entry level certification. If someone already has HR in their background, they could go for the SCP, which is for that senior person who already has that in their background. This does come in for credit for prior learning for business 205. And then we also offer the project management professional. This is the PMP exam preparation. This is for those that do project management, which goes across all fields: IT, education, healthcare, business, anything that has projects related to it. This is an exam and a certification that is highly sought after. So this is a newer program for us, and it's already been established that for credit for prior learning as ITP 170. So that's like a programming, I believe, program class. We also offer advising. So there is advising for all of Nova, but the advisors usually are for more of those academic programs. So those classes that are credit-based, going into a degree or certificate on the credit side. So we do have some advisors and career coaches for our non-credit students. So those that are wanting to do a certification and making sure they're going in the right direction and things of that nature. So we have our full-time IT faculty member. Part of his job description is to advise students. So he does advise about our classes. And so if a student has questions about what class should I take, I'm brand new, or I'm not brand new, which way should I go? Also just about the certifications and preparing for those. and what is required in terms of that. He does talk a little bit about career as well in the IT world if the student really has those questions about that as well. We also have a career advisor. She's a coach that basically helps students also with some class selection, but her primary focus is really about that career path. So it's about your resume, it's about interview skills, it's about just talking through how do I look for a job or what should I be looking for, different things like that. So she can help with those type of questions as well as our workforce classes. She also does that for our credit students. So she's a good bridge to some of the credit programs if that is something you're looking to do. We also have a career readiness coordinator who's basically helping all of our workforce students kind of be career ready. So not just getting those technical skills and getting those certifications, but also what else is required. So talking about communication and problem solving and things of that nature, as well as financial literacy and different things like that. Because once you do get this job, how are you going to handle all this wonderful money that you're going to make? So we do different workshops, both for the larger campuses. So we kind of all come together for those, and then we do some specifically for our workforce students. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about our financial assistance. I know that's a lot of information thus far, and you might have some questions. So as stated, please, you'll have time to, and there'll be a slide of you can contact to ask some of those questions too. But I want to give you a little bit about our financial assistance. So as stated, this is separate from FAFSA. So FAFSA, which a lot of people, of course, know, is for Pell and other grants, and then educational loans. All of that can only be utilized for credit programs. So it may still be a workforce program, but if it's a credit-based program, that's what you're going to use the FAFSA for. What I'm going to talk about here is for non-credit programs. So this is programs that traditionally do not have any financial assistance attached to them, but they do here in Virginia, at least under this program. So I've spoken quite a bit about Fast Forward. So Fast Forward was started back in 2016, and this is funding that the governor decided to put into place because he saw that we had all of these jobs, but the jobs needed certain certifications for people to take. And we didn't have enough Virginians, people that live here in the state of Virginia, that had those certifications to take those jobs. So he created this program with his cabinet to say, we need to put money kind of where our mouths are to say, we're going to help people get these certifications so that then they can then take these jobs. So these businesses will stay in Virginia, and then our residents can then flourish. So what this does is this funding is for all 23 community colleges. So even though you may not come to Nova for something, or maybe Nova doesn't offer what you want, but another college does, if it's a part of their Fast Forward program, then the funding is there as well. And basically the requirements for the Fast Forward programs is to be domiciled in the state of Virginia. Basically what that means is you have lived in the state for 12 months or more, and you're eligible to receive state funding. What does that mean? That basically means you're a U.S. citizen, a permanent resident, or another status that's eligible to receive funding. Other statuses that are a part of that, temporary protective status, so TPS, approved asylum. You do have to be approved. You can't be pending. And then there's a few others as well. Again, if you have questions, there will be a slide at the end so you can ask some of those more personal questions. But basically, for just being a Virginia resident, the Fast Forward grant pays for 2/3 of the cost of the class. So that's a $3,000 class now becomes $1,000 for just being a Virginia resident. We're not looking at income. We're not looking at anything else. We're just wanting to know that you're domiciled in the state of Virginia. The beauty of this is when this was created, this was not available to high school students. But as of, I want to say almost 2 years ago now, they opened the Fast Forward grant up to high school seniors are eligible. So if you are a current high school senior, and then when we're in the summer months, if you're going to be a senior, a rising senior, you are eligible for this. Now you still have to meet those requirements to be domiciled, but it's a game changer for a lot of people. But what if that final 1/3, the final, the 1,000 that's left to pay for it to go into a class, that's still too much for someone. We have grants for that as well. So we have two grants. The first grant is called FANTIC, Financial Assistance for Non-Credit Training for Industry Credentials. And then we have G3, Get a Skill, Get a Job, Get Ahead. Now, both of these programs were created for different reasons, but basically their requirements are the same. They can only be used for fast forward programs, of course, and they pay that final 1/3. So the fast forward grant pays for 2/3. The FANTIC and or G3 pay that final 1/3. The requirements for this is financial. So you do have to be domiciled, and you have to show that you are 400% under the poverty guideline. And you do that in multiple ways. If you're currently receiving SNAP or TANF, then that automatically provides that information, or you then provide taxes. Now, if you are being claimed under someone's taxes, then we're going to look at their taxes, because it is about the household. It's not about the individual. It's about the household and what the household is providing. So that's for FANTIC and G3. Now, here's the caveat. It's that third bullet point where it says eligibility for this funding. If you are under the age of 19 without a high school diploma, so that means you haven't graduated yet, unfortunately, you would not be eligible for this funding. If you are 19 years old or older and you do or you don't have a high school diploma, you are eligible for this funding. So that we haven't quite got this funding for high school seniors yet. And I'm not sure, I think because of the way the funding is written, I'm not sure if it will ever be available, but again, you would still be eligible for the fast forward funding. And this is a document that we use to help students kind of work through everything. So everything I just kind of talked about with FANTIC and G3 is kind of shown here. And then the other thing that's here is the poverty guideline chart. So if you are using your taxes, and so you could use this guide as if you are, let's say there's 3 people in your household. So for 3 people, if the household is making under $103,280, then you would most likely be eligible, and you would have to produce documentation to show that. The other part of this document lists all of our classes. I'm sure this is pretty small on your screen, but basically what it does is it shows all of our fast forward classes. So you know all the classes that are fast forward eligible. It's going to show you the full tuition, just so you understand the full tuition for the class. Then it does the math for you. It shows you the fast forward, so the 2/3, which is already taken off, so the 1/3 you're paying out of pocket, how much that is. And then, of course, if you're also utilizing the FANTIC and G3, then again, that $3,000 class becomes $0. The other thing that's listed here is everything that's included in the tuition. So with Fast Forward, we try to make it as inclusive so that students aren't paying or is not paying too much out of pocket to be able to take these courses. So I would say all of our classes include all materials, so that if there's a book, electronic book, physical book, any other materials needed for the class. So if there's practice exams, other just things to help you understand concepts and things like that, that's usually included. For our healthcare, if you don't already have your CPR first aid, that's included to get that certification, as well as some other things. And then, of course, the big thing is the exam voucher. To be able to take these exams, there's a cost to that. So we've included that in the price of the tuition. So some of these exam vouchers can be up to $500. So that's included in the cost of the class. The beauty of this is for a lot of our IT classes specifically, there is a retake as well that's included if you follow certain guidelines and instructions to be able to partake in that retake voucher. So that means if you don't pass the first time, because these exams are difficult and they are there's a lot of different ways that they do the actual exams and how they ask the questions, it can be a little overwhelming, and it's timed. So you only have a certain amount of time to get through these exams. So there's a lot of things that could add to why someone may not have passed the first time. But we found that a lot of students, when they retake it, they are passing. So we pay for the retake voucher so that you can get that certification. Again, that's usually only for the IT classes, but we're looking at trying to do that for other classes as well. And then we also have some other funding because not everyone's eligible for all the funding that we offer through the Fast Forward program. So this just lists some of the other fundings that we have access to, or that students have access to, and that we help either manage or that we accept. WIOA is the bigger one. You may or may not have heard of this. This is through Virginia CareerWorks, which is kind of like our workforce offices throughout and all the different jurisdictions and counties. And WIOA stands for Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. So this is funding basically in place for I believe it's federal funding, but it's through the states. And basically just helps anyone who's looking for a job and who needs to get a certification or get a training, it pays for that. So you do have to go through their process. So this is not NOVA. This is through Virginia CareerWorks. And if you are accepted into this program, then there is this funding to help pay for classes. I can say all of our Fast Forward classes and our ESL classes can be paid through WIOA if you're eligible. So this is a great funding source for students that may not be eligible for the Fast Forward or Fantic G3 funding. And then different counties have decided to use some of their money to help their residents take courses at NOVA. So City of Alexandria is one through their VIEW program, which is through Department of Social Services. Grow Manassas is for anyone who lives in the city of Manassas. City of Falls Church, Workforce Education. You do have to be a city employee with the City of Falls Church to be eligible for that funding. And then the Upskill Fairfax City Tuition Assistance. You do have to be either a resident of the City of Fairfax or be employed by a business that operates in the City of Fairfax. And then there's other opportunities as well, which I believe I have here on the next slide. We have some other grants that, again, don't look at other things. And so this might be another way for students to get some funding to help pay for classes. We also encourage our students to ask their employers. We have some pretty big employers that will pay for our classes. Wegmans, McDonald's, Virginia Department of Transportation, so VDOT. We have great relationships with them, as well as other employers that do pay for their employees to take some of our classes. And then we also have a scholarship, which fortunately or unfortunately, it's only offered once a year, but we do offer some scholarships specifically for populations that may not be eligible for other funding sources. And then I'm just going to talk just briefly about some of our other courses offered by Nova Workforce, and this is just a very high level. We offer so many more classes than this, and especially in our asynchronous online classes, which are classes you kind of do at your own pace. It just gives you kind of a template of things that you need to do to complete. Some of those are listed under the computer training. You'll see it says online classes kind of near the bottom of that section. Basic game design, coding. We have one for podcasting, QuickBooks, things like that are all kind of under there, as well as so many others. And so we do offer a lot more than just the Fast Forward classes. And these classes can be as short as 2 sessions. So you're in class for maybe a week. It just depends on the class. And then, of course, some of these classes are more of that 4 to 6 week kind of time frame. And then I want to talk just briefly about our career connections. This is kind of like our all things career related. This is for all students. Doesn't matter if you're credit or non-credit. If you are a NOVA student, you have access to Career Connections. And the beauty of Career Connections is it's going to ask you just to create a profile, kind of what you're interested in and things like that. This is where we house our job board, but it's not just any job board. It's a job board that's vetted. So these are employers that we know are employers, and they keep it up to date. So there's always new jobs and internships that are listed in here. It's also a great place to meet with our career counselors. So I mentioned our career counselor for Nova Workforce. The college, of course, employs many more career counselors. So this is the place where students can make that appointment to talk to a career counselor. And again, they will talk with all students. It doesn't matter what program you're in. There's also an interview scheduler. So employers will do virtual interviews as well as on-campus interviews with students. So they'll come and they'll table and they'll interview someone on the spot after looking, of course, their resume and things of that nature. And then we also have career fairs. So some of our career fairs are online, but a lot have now come to more in real life. So they're on campus. So students can come and talk with employers and do different things. And then we also try to post about other career fairs that are happening around the different counties and things like that in Northern Virginia. So we do enjoy that. And then sometimes employers will just come and just sit and just want to talk with students just about who they are, how they operate, things of that nature. So there's a lot of things that happen in Career Connections. You do have to be either a current NOVA student or an alumni of NOVA. So even if you are someone who's taken classes and it's been a while, you can still access Career Connections. So that is my presentation. So here is all of our contact information. This isn't for me particularly. Just so you know, I have a staff of about 10 staff who answer this line, the phone line, who answer the emails that come through, and who are also, well, not all 10 are on live chat, but I have quite a few who are on the live chat who can talk with you through there. I also encourage people to go to our frequently asked questions section. We have a lot of information there. So it's always good if you can just kind of scroll through there, see if we talk about whatever your question might be. And not to say that please still contact us, but that's a great place to kind of look first. Or even after you talk to us and say, oh, I forgot to ask this, go ahead and check that out as well. But I wanted to thank you for being a part of this session. And again, if you have any questions about anything I've said, please contact us at one of these ways to contact us. And I hope this was informational and informative. And thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us for NOVA Certificates in Workforce Development Programs as part of the Post-Secondary Virtual Night event. Have a great evening.
Bye.